Very good morning, students, and I wish you a very happy new year. Students, welcome to the class. Today we are going to know about the poem Sailing to Byzantium by W.B. Yeats. Students, Sailing to Byzantium, it was written in the year 1927 and is the first poem in the volume of verses entitled The Tower. Students, Byzantium is the old name for Constantinople or Istanbul, and it was the capital of the eastern part of the Roman Empire. Students, this Constantinople was a great center of mosaic art and metal enameling. Its fall to the Turks in the year 1453 led to the revival of Greek art and culture known as Renaissance. In the poem, Byzantium symbolizes some transcendental country, a place out of time and nature, a world of art and philosophy. Students, this is one of Yeats's best known poems, one which has received considerable attention from critics. Students, this is remarkable for its richness and complexity, revealing successive layers of meaning at successive readings. Byzantium, now called Constantinople or Istanbul, as I have already told you, was the capital of eastern wing of the Holy Roman Empire. It was noted for its art, especially mosaic work and gold enameling. However, in the poem, it is no real city but a country of the mind, a city outside time and nature, a utopia, a retreat from the process of aging and decaying. Noted critic Wilson remarks, it is a symbol of the world of intellect and spirit. Sailing to Byzantium symbolizes a mental orientation, a psychological change from a mentality which values the pleasures of sexuality and the flesh to one which values things of mind and the spirit and of the soul. Here we see the poet is growing old and he finds that the country, Ireland, where he lives at present is not suited to old men. It is a country in which all living creatures, young and in the fullness of their powers, are given to sensual and sexual pleasures. Reproductive activity goes on everywhere. Birds, beasts, and fish all alike indulge in it. It is a sensual world, and engrossed in sensuality, nobody cares for monument of unaging intellect, that is, for works of art and literature which are the products of mind and the spirit and hence immortal. Old age is a time of physical decay and decline when a man no longer has the capacity for physical enjoyment. He becomes worthless and helpless as a scarecrow. He is a contemptible figure, a mere tattered coat upon a stick, unless he devotes himself to the study and enjoyment of art. Students, here we see the poet sails for Byzantium. As soon as he reaches there, he prays not to God, but to God's saints to come down from heaven and teach him the appreciation of art. The sages are great artists of Byzantium who created in the past monuments of unaging intellect and who are its guardian angels, so to say. He visualizes them standing in God's holy fire, like figures in the mosaic work standing against a background of pure gold. The fire is a symbol of purification and it does them no harm, for they are supernatural. The poet invokes them to come down with the rapid spiral movement and to teach him how to enjoy the beauty of art. They should purify his heart of all physical passions and desires, for he is old like a dying animal, incapable of passions and desire, incapable of any physical enjoyment. He is disgusted with physical desire, for he can no longer gratify them. The poet does not understand his own longing, his own self. He is sick of life, meaningless, and devoid of all usual activity. He prays to them for absorption into the artifice of century, that is to enable him to purifying him of sensual and physical, to devote himself to the spiritual. Students, once the poet is out of nature, that he is dead physically, he will not enter the body of any other living creature. Instead, he will like to become a golden bird, a perfect work of art such as was shaped by the great artists of Byzantium. Such birds were set on golden bow, and they sang of the past, present, and future to keep awake the drowsy emperor or the lords and ladies of his court. As work of art, they were not subject to the ravages of time. Students, in short, the poet prays to the saints to grant him an eternity such is enjoyed by the art of Byzantium. This highly elusive and complex poem bears out Stock's contention that Yeats's poetry is a battleground for the clash of opposites. The poet has not only rendered the opposites, contricity, sexuality, intellectuality, dying, unaging, body, soul, flesh, and spirit, holy, unholy, but has also tried to reconcile them by conceiving in the manner of Plotinus of a city outside time. Students, this much for today. We will continue with the interpretation of this poem in our next class. Thank you.